What's up everyone, my name is Michael and welcome to Box Mining. Today I want to talk about Stellar and Stellar Lumens. I'm going to start off with what the Stellar project is and how they're trying to be different from everything else. Then I'm going to talk about their advantages and disadvantages of the system, and finally we're going to talk about Stellar Lumens, the token that they're using. So let's start off with what is Stellar and what it's trying to achieve. It's trying to use cryptocurrencies to do very fast payments with low fees. So if you look at the key advantages of Stellar, it has a 3 to 5 second confirmation time. It also supports thousands of transactions per second. So that's a little bit different from Bitcoin, which has a approximately 10-minute confirmation time, and Bitcoin doesn't support as many transactions as Stellar does. So if you look at this, Stellar uses something else. So it can't use the same mechanism that Bitcoin uses, which is called proof of work. So Bitcoin is mineable, but Stellar uses something else. It's called the SCP, the Stellar Consensus Protocol. And if this all sounds a little bit familiar of this kind of fast confirmation time and fast many transactions per second, and you're thinking about something called Ripple, then you're right. Because Stellar is actually based on Ripple's code. It's actually a fork of Ripple, and it happened around 2014. So it kind of originated from Ripple and kind of deviated from that and changed. So there is a little bit of controversy surrounding this, and I do want to cover that in a little bit later, but I just want to talk about the key advantages of Stellar first. So it doesn't use mining, it's not mineable. All the Stellar Lumens are created from the start, and if you look at their white paper, what they're trying to claim is that they're trying to claim that this kind of protocol mechanism is better than Bitcoin, mostly because it still keeps its decentralization, but it has low latency, flexible trust, and better security. Of course, not everyone believes this, so this is kind of one-sided part of their white paper. The thing with proof of work is that it is truly decentralized, and miners are incentivized by rewards to mine and be honest. The thing is, with the Stellar Consensus Protocol, it is something new and different, and it uses a different trust mechanism. So kind of the network chooses to trust itself or not, but it doesn't have mining. It doesn't have a reward, or a lack of reward rather, if you choose to be dishonest. So this is something that is a little bit different and a little bit different way of kind of doing things. There is a little bit of a sacrifice in my opinion. So my personal opinion is that it sacrifices a little bit of the decentralization for speed and efficiency. So there's always trade-offs in cryptocurrencies. I just want to make that very clear, that every mechanism has its advantages and disadvantages. And the SCP, the Ripple and the SCP, the Stellar mechanism, does have some advantages because it's fast. But of course, there are people that can definitely argue that because it's not mineable, because there's no mining mechanism here and or incentive to be a miner or part of the node, then it's not as secure as Bitcoin. So we talked about how Stellar has fast confirmations and supports many transactions per second. So what are the applications of Stellar? Well, the applications are for micropayments and cross-border transfer, like for example, remittances, and also something like mobile money. So it's trying to do this kind of transfer of value thing, very similar to what Ripple is trying to do, but it's trying to target more for retailers, merchants. So that's the kind of the key difference between Ripple and Stellar. Stellar is more open sourced, it's more trying to engage the community, whilst Ripple is more closed source and target systems like banks. So here we have recently Stellar and IBM announced a partnership to solve cross-border payments. So this is a huge issue if you guys remember. Systems that are currently in place, for example, SWIFT or using traditional institutions, require a lot of time and high fees. And this is something that Stellar Lumens tries to solve, because you can transfer these tokens really quickly between countries, and it's kind of nationless. Transfer anywhere across the world takes the same amount of time. So that's a key advantage of using this system. So IBM and Stellar are trying to develop the system and trying to improve it so that there's like 12 currency corridors. You can transfer currencies between, for example, New Zealand and the United Kingdom, and they're trying to get different parties on board. Of course, they need a lot of liquidity providers to do this, and they're still in the process of working this out. And of course, one caveat is that they don't have to use the Stellar Lumen token. So I'll talk about this token in a later second as well. So the protocol itself is all about fast transactions and about many transactions per second. Basically, this kind of instantaneous and real-time transactions, that's what they're calling it, because 5 seconds to 6 seconds delay isn't that long. So now let's talk a little bit about the lumens as well. So the lumens is the native kind of currency and that native asset of the Stellar network. So we talked about how Stellar is the protocol level. The lumens are the tokens that you're sending. The tokens are like Bitcoin, and there's a lot of these tokens around. 100 billion of these tokens are created, and they're not mined, so they're just created. It's called, a lot of community will call this pre-mined, in a sense that this was created by the company and then were issued out during various airdrops. So people that were, taking part of the airdrops could claim Stellar Lumens for free, and that was a way to distribute these Stellar Lumens to Bitcoin holders. Currently at this point, 6.99 billion tokens have been distributed so far, but that's quite a little bit shy of the 100 billion that were created. So a lot are still not distributed and held by the Stellar Foundation. In terms of how transactions work, it's very similar to the Ripple network. There's a very small amount of fee associated with sending Stellar Lumens, and the fee is mostly to prevent the network from spam attacks. So there's a minor fee associated with everything, and account holders must hold a minimal balance of 20 lumens. So it's not really a lot of lumens that they have to hold to use this network. So if you're using this as remittance, I think it suffers the kind of the same advantages and disadvantages of Ripple. I've been talking about Ripple a lot, but a lot of people think that this will be held by a lot of people using this as remittance. But if the transactions are really fast and you just want to transfer currency from point to point and use Stellar or Ripple as a medium, then it's only an intermediary state and you don't need that much to have lots of liquidity. So I really think that this is one of the things that you must remember if you're thinking about, buying lumens or buying Ripple in general. It's meant to be an intermediary currency, unless people really want to hold on for it for a long term. There's really, the design around it is really to just facilitate a transfer, and once transfer is done, then it'll be released back into the network. So you don't really need that much to have a very kind of liquid network. So lastly, I want to talk about Ripple versus Stellar Lumen, because this has been a huge debate since 2014. Stellar has been forked from Ripple, and it was developed by someone that was part of the original Ripple team. However, there has been criticism on both sides about each other's network. So they were Stellar has been talking about how after they forked off Ripple, they made various improvements that change consensus code, how the Ripple network gains consensus. And they are claiming that these changes are because of a core bug, core issues in Ripple's system. But Ripple has since then replied to that and says that, the forking issue doesn't affect Ripple and that Ripple is not really bugged out. So it seems like there is a mini war between Ripple and Stellar to claim which one is better and bug-free. The cool thing is that you can judge this for yourself. So if you're used to GitHub, both Ripple and Stellar have their sources code on GitHub. I would love to hear your opinion on this debate as well, whether you think Stellar is a better mechanism than Ripple, or if Ripple is better. So I'd love to hear your opinions and kind of discuss this. Guys, thank you so much for watching this quick summary of Stellar Lumens. If you want additional things to be added, I would love to hear them below as well, and maybe I can make additional, more advanced video covering Stellar Lumens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more discussions and more videos like this. Remember to click that notification bell on the side to be notified of new videos as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.